Think of a number 1 through 10. Is it 7? No? Fuck! That's how the movie Nothing Except Everything starts.
Think of a number 1 to 10. Yes. Is it 7? Chances are I'm wrong, but for about 1 out of every 3 of you, I just blew your goddamn mind.
Okay, I guess that's a fine way to start a movie, except that you're talking to the audience, and get a fucking life if you start your movie by talking to the audience. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm ripping on this movie that you've never heard of. Or maybe you have heard of it. Got 6 million views. It's a small indie movie, though. Why am I giving it a hard time? Well, the thing is, you see that? Yeah, take a closer look. You see that sheen on the movie? That's called having a fuckload of money. This isn't a small little indie film. Let's take a look at who it's made by. Wesley Wang. And you'll see by the end of this video that he really is the Wang of filmmaking. Like, Wang is a 20-year-old student at Harvard whose parents are extremely rich and who has been making movies since he was 11, which is not an impressive age. So, I just told you that Nothing Except Everything is a bad movie. But why did I say that it's a bad movie? There are tons of comments on the video that say it's a great movie. Are they all wrong? Yeah, they're all wrong. We'll get back to that. But, about the beginning of the movie. I lied. The beginning of the movie is actually a Karl Marx quote. Oh, fuck.
The way you're on my dick must really hurt your knees.
A lot of the time, when someone calls a movie pretentious, it's not actually pretentious. They just don't want to engage with it because it brings up its points in an interesting and convoluted way. Like a Stanley Kubrick movie. This movie is not like a Stanley Kubrick movie. It's just actually pretentious. It is the definition of exaggerated self-worth. After the Karl Marx quote, there's a scene where the main character asks us about the numbers 1 through 10. But it's not funny like my version, because I'm actually the funniest guy ever made, so take that. It's written like a fucking Disney Channel original, or actually like a Nickelodeon sitcom. The whole movie has this incessant air of sincerity, but not too much sincerity. Like it's written by a weird old guy that likes feet. The movie has a high budget sheen to it, like I brought up before. Every rough edge is sanded out. There's no interest in the cinematography or lighting or editing. There are parts of the movie that are in a stupid Super 8 filter for no other reason than, like... It's like a fucking memory or something, man. The movie looks good, I guess, but not like anything. Like, how are you telling your story? Wesley clearly had the team to do this. He had an Oscar shortlisted producer and a very competent VFX team. So why didn't he make his movie look like this? Maybe the reason that the movie doesn't look like anything is because it doesn't have anything to look like. Let me elaborate. The look of all these movies comes from the point that they're trying to get at. This movie doesn't have a point. The movie is split into 4 sections that have a clear formula, which inherently isn't bad. I'm not saying that having a repetitive act-based film is bad. It's not. In this movie, though, the formula is generic montage, then a badly written conversation scene. Switch that around and copy it and paste it a few times and you've got a fucking 6 million views. Anyway, within those dialogue scenes is the meat of the movie, or, you know, what proves the pointlessness of this film. The main character talks about how uncertain everything is, and then just leaves it at that. Then, during his valedictorian speech, he talks about how nothing has meaning, because, you know, death happens, guys. Ugh.
Did Uncle Fred kill himself?
But then, he addresses that he's being nihilistic and that he's being self-aware, as if that justifies it.
And definitely, there's no meaning to my pretentious, nihilistic, and edgy attempt at self-awareness for the sake of self-awareness!
Later in the movie, he has a conversation with his girlfriend about whether they'll remember each other when they're old. They come to the ultimate conclusion that yes, but that they won't care anymore. Ooh boy. So, with all of this in mind, and with what people have been saying about the movie, you could argue that it's about how nothing matters, so you need to live in the moment. Because, actually memories matter, and you'll feel sad if you don't have happy memories to remember. So actually emotions matter, etc., etc. It's really messy, because, it's not actually getting at that. But there's one very important point, that you do all of this for yourself. In the valedictorian speech scene, the principal of the school tries to stop the main guy from talking. And my question is, why? This movie is about nothing, because it claims to be about how you need to make yourself personally happy, for yourself, and that it doesn't matter if you affect others. So, why does it matter that the principal is trying to silence him? Why put that in your movie if that movie is about personal discovery? Because it's not about that. It's not about anything. Everything contradicts itself in this movie. This movie wasn't made for the sake of art. It was made for gain. Nothing better signifies this than the editing. After the initial scene with the talking to the camera, the movie has an unrealistic montage of having fun at school. But in this movie, the montage never fucking stops. The whole movie is cut like a trailer, because it is a trailer. This movie is meant to be made into a feature, to be picked up and to boost Wang's career into the full feature filmmaking. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, though, I guess. Whiplash and a lot of movies have done that. But when that movie isn't actually a movie, what are you saying about what that final feature is going to be? The comment section of Nothing Except Everything has literally no bad comments in it. I scrolled for minutes and nothing. That's kind of weird, isn't it? I just wanted to say that before I bring up this next bit. The song. They're TikTok songs, like songs from CapCut edits. This whole movie actually feels like a CapCut template. And that's when it hits you. This movie is a product of TikTok. That's why it's devoid of meaning. It might as well just be a template. That's why all the characters are generic. That's why the main character never really hates himself. That's why they're attractive and straight, because it's a fucking template. It is a disgusting, oozing, festering amalgam of coming-of-age stories. It doesn't have anything original because it isn't about a specific person. It's about everything. Except that when you make something about everything, it's about nothing. The movie is being adapted into a feature film produced by the director of Black Swan. This movie that we have established is about nothing is being turned into a major motion picture. How? Big budget movies are having a concerning trend of pretending to say something, but then just kind of saying something else, or not really saying anything at all, so they can have their cake and eat it too, so they can cater to both sides of an argument. They get all the benefit of controversy without the thought-provoking aspect. A good short film is the main idea that you're trying to get at distilled down to its purest form. Nothing Except Everything is that for this style of filmmaking. It's about nothing because it's not meant to be. That's why this movie is being turned into a feature. It's exactly what big budget movies want to be, completely inoffensive. The visuals are fine. The writing is serviceable. The acting gets the point across. It all is just good enough that if you aren't being actively critical, it doesn't register as bad. All this put together is why I actually don't think it's Wesley Wang's fault that his movies are bad. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a bad filmmaker, and he shouldn't be making a Hollywood feature. That being said, he's not doing anything wrong. He's making this movie, and it's doing well. Why shouldn't he just keep making shitty movies? They do really well. People love them, apparently, and you can make a shitload of money with them. He's using the system that has been built exactly as it is intended to be used. He just has a bunch of money, so he can do it better than everyone else. It's not his fault that it works. Then again, he has a fucking rape montage in one of his high-budget movies, so maybe he is just a bad guy. I go to a good amount of film festivals. I even started my own. I see a lot of shitty movies, but I also see a lot of amazing ones. A through line, though, is that almost every single one of the movies I see has a genuine passion that seeps through. The most amazing movies, though, are the ones that are rough around the edges. Not made by a seasoned filmmaker, but against all odds, make me feel an emotion. When I arranged a film festival, one of the films that was submitted was made by an elementary schooler. It was a stop-motion animated film, and it was beautiful. Emotionally complex and thought-provoking. It was getting at a central idea. It was cinema distilled down to its most basic and innocent form. These are the inexperienced filmmakers that should be getting attention, not the ones that hire someone to make the movie look nice at the expense of telling a truly human story. These aren't the filmmakers that are being highlighted, though. So you need to be the one to do that. You need to find good filmmakers, because if we don't do it, it could mean the death of cinema, the death of everything amazing that film can be.